Hi, and welcome back to another video feature of the Immersive World's Handbook. Today I'm back in Las Vegas, Nevada at the Aria Hotel and Casino, and I want to give you a focus in this special feature on doing research in themed immersive spaces. And actually, I'm using here my GoPro with my selfie stick and clip-on mic, but I can take this off because actually I have my other camera here, and I want to use these cameras actually as an opportunity to think about what goes into creating videos such as these. And in the case of doing any video, certainly, and presenting on YouTube, you have to have cameras available. And I use my Sony camera to do a lot of my stills and also to do some video. And I find that what's important with any camera, quite obviously, when you're doing video, is having good audio. So in the case of the GoPro, I ended up picking this clip-on mic that I found gave me better audio because I think the mic pickup on the GoPro is in the rear. And at very least, I noticed that when I didn't use the clip-on mic, that I had some severe problems as I tried it, that I had some serious problems with the quality of the audio. What's cool about the GoPro, and again I usually use the selfie stick, is that it's so incredibly compact, right? So there's an opportunity to use this in spaces, and it doesn't draw attention to itself, and this can be an issue if you're trying to deal with being less conspicuous, I would guess, say, in terms of going into those spaces, creating the videos, and then having good quality video. I tried some stabilizers with the GoPro, and I still haven't found one to be successful. And I guess there's the factor with the video stabilizer that you just look a bit awkward in terms of carrying this giant thing. So unfortunately, I think a lot of the video I shoot either with the GoPro or the Sony then has a rather shaky quality to it, and I think that's just kind of a facet of a lot of video you see on YouTube these days, is that it's limited by the fact that we're moving around and we're using technology. We're not running around with steady cams, basically. But I think for the job, certainly, both of these do a great job in terms of giving me videos like this one that you can watch and that you can hopefully get a sense of the space. And again, in particular, I think with the super wide angle, close to 180-degree wide angle lens on the GoPro, when I take any shots, such as just the shot right here, if we flip the camera around to look at the veer here, you see how dramatic it indeed is when you're able to pick up so much on the screen. And this is, I think, particularly important. I wish I had this camera, for example, for some of my features I shot in Singapore, because it really does give you this much more dramatic sense of the scale of the place that you're seeing. And the other thing I should say is I'm also using my iPad, and the iPad, strangely enough, comes in handy, I would say, a lot in doing some of these video features. And of course, you know, you have a pretty simple camera and pretty simple video feature, time lapse, and so forth. But it is surprisingly less conspicuous, I think, a lot of times when you use an iPad, because it doesn't look like you're a professional photographer. It doesn't look like you're taking video for some purpose other than being a tourist. So if I'm out on the Strip or inside a casino, anywhere really, unless it's highly restrictive in terms of the use of photography and video, I can take some pictures with this. I can even shoot some video, and no one's going to raise an eyebrow, and thus that's going to avoid detection in terms of sometimes, as happened to me in a few places like Horton and Horton Plaza in San Diego, where I was confronted because people thought it was a little curious. And in the case of Horton Plaza, I think I was using my GoPro, and I was talking into the camera like I'm doing now, and that raised some eyebrows of some of the managers there, and then security was called, and I had to explain to security, and the whole thing was resolved quite easily. But it's one of those situations that when you're doing a video, you just don't want to be distracted in the middle of it. You want to get the video done, you want to offer that to viewers and so forth, and you don't want the hassle of someone asking you, why are you taking photos or video? Of course, in the case of Las Vegas, it's a lot easier to do this because so many people from all over the world come here and they take photos in just about every space. In some spaces, I mean, you could count almost every person having a camera, a cell phone, some kind of device. Just go down the street from City Center here to Bellagio to the conservatory, and I would guess that over 50–60% of guests at any time in that space have some sort of recording device, and thus in a space like that, it's incredibly easy to shoot video, to do even these kinds of recordings, and certainly to shoot still photography. I found the same thing was true in Singapore, and unlike a lot of other places, Singapore is not banning selfie sticks. And if you've been reading about art galleries around the world, I heard recently Disney theme parks in 2015 were talking about this on rides. There's a concern about the selfie stick, and the selfie stick is becoming more and more ubiquitous. And obviously because of cell phones and so forth and small cameras like the GoPro, you can use these sticks to do selfies and to also capture a lot of your environment around you if you're doing a first-person video like this. And so the good thing I think about that is hopefully more and more spaces will be more open to people taking photography and video. And I'm not one of those persons who agrees that we should be banning selfie sticks and banning cameras and video, because more and more of the world we interact with today is a world of popular culture. I feel that we should have the opportunity and the ability to take photos and video, and what a great opportunity to democratize media by offering videos to people to watch on sites like YouTube and many other video sites and social media sites. Now the other thing, as I'm holding an iPad, I forgot to mention, is the other thing I can do with an iPad and I can't always do with my other cameras would be time-lapse. And time-lapse is pretty cool for some features like Vegas, where I want to get an overall broad view of something, or sorry, not a broad view, but a view over time. And then the other thing that's pretty cool on the iPad is I can also use the panorama. So if I want to capture panorama shots, in the case of Las Vegas, the Strip, I can do that very easily with the iPad. But for me, it's not the photographic abilities with the iPad that makes it practical for me, but it's the fact that I fit in more as a tourist and I don't look like a social researcher when I'm interacting with some of these spaces. And the other thing I should mention in terms of the iPad is the handiness as a researcher of having a portable keyboard. So if I'm anywhere, the last time I was here a couple weeks ago at the Monte Carlo, I sat down at one of the tables there, had a coffee, and then took out my keyboard and wrote some field notes as I was thinking about some of the spaces that I interacted with. And so certainly you can do that with a very portable keyboard, and you can do that with an iPad, of course. And the other thing, part of the arsenal, I guess this makes sense, but I offer it to you regardless, is having a bag like this. This particular bag is a Patagonia bag. And when I first got it, I thought it was maybe a little bit too small, but it really does have everything I need. I can stick the iPad in here. I can also put the keyboard. The GoPro I can put in the outside pocket, along with some of the batteries and the clip-on mic in the inside pocket. I can also put the Sony camera in here, bottle of water or umbrella on the side, and I'm pretty good to go. And believe me, this bag got me through a lot of my trip in Singapore, in which I wanted to have a very light bag and not a lot of stuff to carry, but also wanted to be able to take a lot of these, the camera, the iPad, and some of the other equipment with me so that I could do some of these features. And the other thing I should say about doing these features is you'll often note that I'm not doing all of this live, and that's really for practical reasons. A lot of times what I'll do is I'll shoot an in and an out, so I'll do the intro video, and then after that I shoot an exit video, and then usually I'll shoot some video around, maybe making some real-time synchronous commentary on top of that video. But more times than not, I'll take video and do non-sync sound after the fact, because sometimes after I shoot the video I have new insights or new things I want to think about or I've thought about, and then I can present those to you later doing a voiceover. And again, the voiceover I do using Final Cut Pro and piecing the video together. And the other thing I also do is I use a lot of stills And on top of those stills, I can offer narration. And because they're not timed, I can extend the length of a still. I can basically do that as need be based on what I want to say in the narration when I'm doing these videos. So I wanted to give you some insights just about how I do these videos and how I think about doing research. And maybe, as I pointed out in other video features, I really see the writing I do in terms of dictating notes and thinking about stuff, and all this video work I do on these multiple devices as one core enterprise, as one activity that I'm doing, and basically I see it as very complementary, where I can use the audio and the video that I'm capturing, the still images, along with my writing. I can use those all together to offer opportunities for people to get insights about themed and immersive spaces. So please come back for additional video features of the Immersive Worlds Handbook, and I hope you'll have the opportunity to see more ways of thinking about exciting themed and immersive spaces around the world.